2. Hello book lovers, and welcome back to our literary deep dive series. Today, we're venturing into the foggy marshes and grand estates of Charles Dickens' masterpiece, Great Expectations. We'll be focusing on one of the most pivotal, complex, and unforgettable characters in the entire novel, the convict, Abel Magwitch. His role is so much more than just a scary figure in a graveyard. He is the very engine that drives the plot and shapes the destiny of our protagonist, Pip. So, let's cast our minds back to the very first chapter. A young, orphaned Pip is visiting his parents' graves when suddenly, a terrifying figure emerges from the mist. A man in coarse grey, with a great iron on his leg. This is our introduction to Magwitch. He doesn't ask for help, he demands it. "You bring me tomorrow morning early that file and that whittles," he growls, instilling a deep sense of fear and guilt in young Pip. This moment is absolutely foundational. Pip, forced to steal food and a file, carries the weight of this secret act, a secret that will haunt him for years. This initial encounter isn't just a thrilling opening, it's the seed from which the entire story grows. For a long stretch of the novel, Magwitch disappears from the narrative, but his influence lingers. Pip grows up, bound as an apprentice to Joe Gargery, dreaming of a different life. A life as a gentleman, mostly to win the heart of the cold and beautiful Estella. Then, out of the blue, the lawyer Mr. Jaggers arrives with astonishing news. Pip has a secret. Anonymous benefactor and is to be raised as a gentleman with great expectations. Who could it be? Pip immediately jumps to the conclusion that it must be the eccentric and wealthy Miss Havisham, who he believes is grooming him for Estella. This assumption dictates his actions, his ambitions, and his unfortunate snobbery as he moves to London, leaving his humble, loving family behind. He spends lavishly, puts on airs, and looks down on his past, all while believing he is fulfilling the destiny Miss Havisham has planned for him. This is where Dickens pulls off one of the most brilliant plot twists in literary history. One stormy night, a coarse, weather-beaten man appears at Pip's London apartment. At first, Pip doesn't recognize him. But then the truth is revealed. In a moment of pure shock and horror for Pip, the man is Abel Magwitch, the convict from the marshes, and he is Pip's benefactor. It was Magwitch, transported to Australia, and having worked himself to wealth, who has been funding Pip's transformation into a gentleman. Pip is horrified. His entire world comes crashing down. His great expectations weren't a gift from a high society lady, but the life's work of a hardened criminal. This revelation is the novel's central turning point. It shatters Pip's snobbish illusions about what it means to be a gentleman. Is it about wealth and social standing, or is it about character and integrity? Pip is forced to confront his own prejudice. He was repulsed by Magwitch, seeing him as base and common. Yet this is the man who has sacrificed everything for him. This forces Pip to look beyond the surface, beyond the societal labels of convict and criminal. To understand Magwitch, we have to understand his past, which is tragically intertwined with another convict, Compeyson. Compeyson was a smooth-talking upper-class swindler, the very man who jilted Miss Havisham at the altar. He manipulated Magwitch, using him as the muscle for his crimes and ensuring Magwitch took the harsher punishment when they were caught, simply because Compeyson looked and acted like a gentleman. This backstory is crucial. It highlights the profound injustice of the Victorian class system, where appearances meant everything and true worth was ignored. Magwitch's entire life was shaped by this betrayal. His desire to make Pip a gentleman is his form of revenge against a system that condemned him. Tells Pip, "I've made a gentleman on you. It's me what has done it." For Magwitch, Pip is a tool to spite the so-called gentleman like Compeyson, who wronged him. But Magwitch's character is far more than just an instrument of revenge. Despite his rough exterior and criminal past, he possesses a deep capacity for loyalty and even love. He sees Pip not just as a project, but as the son he never had. His affection is genuine and powerful. He risked his life, returning to England illegally, where he could be hanged, just to see the gentleman he created. This raw, paternal love stands in stark contrast to the cold, manipulative affection offered by Miss Havisham and Estella. The presence of Magwitch forces us, along with Pip, to question the societal views of the time. Convicts were seen as irredeemable monsters. We See this in the fearful reactions of characters like Mrs. Joe and Uncle Pumblechook. Pip himself initially shares this revulsion, as he spends time with the returned Magwitch, hiding him and caring for him. His perspective undergoes a profound transformation. He starts to see the man behind the label, a man who has been a victim of injustice, a man who possesses a powerful, albeit misguided, sense of gratitude. Pip's journey from fear and disgust to empathy and loyalty is the core of his moral development. Skint. He moves from wanting to be a gentleman in the eyes of society to becoming a true gentleman in character, defined by compassion and forgiveness. Kerr. The final act of the novel cements this transformation. Pip and his friend Herbert Pocket devise a plan to help Magwitch escape England. But they are betrayed, and Compeyson reappears. Theme. In a dramatic struggle in the Thames, Magwitch finally gets his revenge, drowning Compeyson, but he himself is fatally injured and captured. In these final scenes, as Magwitch lies dying in a prison infirmary, Pip's transformation is complete. He no longer feels shame or repulsion. Instead, he holds Magwitch's hand, comforting him and treating him with the dignity and love he was denied his entire life. 2. He even tells Magwitch that his daughter Estella is alive and that Pip loves her. In this moment, Pip offers Magwitch peace and redemption. Magwitch dies a contented man. Not because he created a gentleman, but because he earned the genuine love and loyalty of Pip. So, what is the ultimate role of the convict? Scable Magwitch is the catalyst for Pip's entire journey of self-discovery. He is a living, breathing critique of the Victorian class system, demonstrating that wealth and status are meaningless without inner virtue. He forces Pip and the reader to reconsider our definitions of good and evil, crime and justice, and what it truly means to be a gentleman. Magwitch begins the story as a figure of terror and ends it as a symbol of profound, sacrificial love. His journey from the marshes to the prison infirmary is not just a plot device. It's the moral heart of Great Expectations. Clue, illustrating the transformative power of compassion and the truth that greatness is found not in our expectations, but in our capacity to love. Thank you so much for joining me on this exploration of one of literature's most fascinating characters. What are your thoughts on Magwitch? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video and want to dive into more literary classics with me, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. Until next time, happy reading!